The biggest political development in this news report is the sudden removal of the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, Christy Noem. According to the report, former President Donald Trump announced that he had officially fired Noem from her cabinet position. This decision is especially significant because it is the first time during Trump's second term that he has removed a cabinet-level official. Cabinet members usually hold important roles in the administration, and removing one often signals serious political or performance-related concerns. Trump shared the announcement through his social media platform, stating that Senator Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma will take over the role starting March 31, 2026. The Department of Homeland Security is responsible for national security, border protection, immigration enforcement, and counterterrorism operations. Because of this, leadership changes in this department are extremely important for U.S. policy. Reports suggest that this decision did not happen suddenly. Instead, it followed growing criticism and internal tensions within the administration and Congress. Several lawmakers had already questioned Noem's leadership and management decisions. This firing shows that political pressure and controversies surrounding her actions eventually led to a major leadership shift within one of the most powerful security agencies in the United States.
Job was in jeopardy, and now it's official.
Yep, President Trump has announced that he has fired the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christy Noem. This is the first cabinet position that he has.
One of the key reasons behind the firing of Homeland Security Secretary Christy Noem appears to be a controversial statement she made during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. During the hearing, Noem claimed that President Trump had approved a massive $200 million advertising campaign related to immigration policy. The campaign reportedly encouraged undocumented immigrants to voluntarily leave the United States. However, the situation quickly turned controversial when President Trump publicly denied approving the campaign. This contradiction created confusion and raised questions among lawmakers about whether the secretary had provided accurate information during official testimony. In Washington politics, misleading statements during congressional hearings are taken very seriously, especially when they involve large amounts of taxpayer money. The controversy increased political pressure on Noem because members of Congress from both parties began questioning her credibility and decision-making. Reports indicate that this hearing may have been the tipping point that pushed Trump to make the decision to remove her from the position. This situation highlights how congressional oversight works in the United States. Government officials must answer detailed questions about policies, spending, and actions taken by their departments. When inconsistencies appear in testimony, it can lead to investigations, criticism, and sometimes even the removal of high-ranking officials.
Told that the catalyst for this was essentially this appearance that she made, this hearing in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, in which she claimed President Trump had signed off on a $200 million ad campaign that featured her asking illegal immigrants to self-deport. President Trump has now said publicly.
Another major factor that contributed to the controversy surrounding Christy Noem was a serious incident connected to an immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. During this operation, federal agents were deployed to carry out immigration enforcement activities. However, the situation turned tragic when 2 United States citizens were fatally shot during the operation. Following the incident, Secretary Noem quickly described the individuals involved as domestic terrorists. This statement immediately sparked criticism because investigators had not yet completed their review of the situation. Many officials inside the Department of Homeland Security were reportedly surprised that such a strong conclusion was made so quickly without waiting for full evidence. Lawmakers and government officials later questioned whether the statement was premature and potentially misleading. The controversy intensified during congressional hearings, where members of Congress challenged Noem about her comments and the department's handling of the situation. Incidents like this are extremely sensitive because they involve law enforcement actions, civilian casualties, and immigration enforcement policies. Critics argued that leadership within the department should be careful and measured before making public accusations in such serious cases. This controversy added to the growing concerns about her leadership and played a role in the increasing political pressure that eventually led to her removal.
Many of those in particular are stemmed in what happened in Minneapolis. Recall, of course, that surge of federal agents for that immigration enforcement operation where 2 U.S. citizens were fatally shot by federal agents. And it was the secretary who came out in that immediate aftermath.
Another clear sign that Christy Noem's position was weakening came from members of her own political party. During interviews on Capitol Hill, several Republican senators were asked whether they still had confidence in her leadership as Secretary of Homeland Security. Instead of offering strong support, many lawmakers gave cautious and uncertain responses. Some senators avoided directly answering whether they would support her again if they had another chance to vote on her confirmation. Their responses suggested that frustration had been growing within the party. In politics, when members of a leader's own party begin to hesitate or refuse to publicly defend them, it often indicates serious internal concerns. Lawmakers are responsible for overseeing government departments and ensuring they are operating effectively. When they feel that leadership decisions are difficult to defend or explain to the public, it can weaken political support very quickly. These comments from Republican senators showed that the criticism against Noem was not only coming from political opponents, but also from within her own party. This loss of confidence likely played an important role in influencing the White House decision. In many cases, presidents rely on feedback from congressional allies when evaluating the performance of cabinet officials.
Noem throughout, and a growing number of Republicans expressing frustration, concern, and actually, frankly, not even saying if they would support her continuing in the job. And no doubt that echoed at the White House, and the President Trump clearly had some of those similar